Okay, I'm going to take you guys on a journey today. And like all journeys in life, there's going to be ups and downs, highs and lows. You're going to like certain parts and dislike other parts. In other words, you will love me and hate me today all at once. But if you listen with an open mind, I promise at the end of the speech, the love will outweigh the hate. The first 30 minutes will be very intense. I'm going to make you feel angry, frustrated, and guilty. Fortunately, the last 15 minutes will be like a comedy roast, so we're going to laugh and giggle. You guys are getting roasted, by the way. So I am going to speak for around 45 minutes, and then we'll do a Q&A session after, so hold your questions until the end. Right now, I want you to think about how you would feel if the moment you were born, someone else had already planned the day of your execution. Because that's what it's like to be a cow, a pig, a chicken, or a turkey on this planet. They're not born free, they're born to be murdered, even though freedom is supposed to be a birthright, a God-given right. I mean, no God would be a slave master, a torturer, and a killer of his animals, his babies. If he was, then he wouldn't be God. He'd be the devil. If that statement shocks you or brings up feelings of animosity towards me, the problem isn't with me and what I've just said. The problem is that humans have victimized animals to such a degree that they aren't even considered victims. They aren't even considered at all. They're nothing. They don't count. They don't matter. They're commodities like TV sets and cell phones. We've actually turned animals into inanimate objects, sandwiches and shoes. It is the greatest magic trick ever performed, the animation switch. And besides the money made from selling their flesh and skin and the things that come out of their bodies, there's not even decent value on them as inanimate objects. The American flag, for example, which is nothing but a piece of fabric. The Bible, which is nothing but a book comprised of ink and paper, stir up more emotions than the murder of animals. If there were a barbecue near campus today, and people were cooking up steaks and hamburgers, man, there'd be a party. People would actually celebrate the cow who was killed, the person who killed the cow, and the chef that seasoned her dead body. But if someone poured gasoline on the flag or a Bible, struck a match and set it on fire, Lord have mercy, there'd be an angry mob ready to kill somebody. These lifeless, inanimate objects, the flag and the Bible, are more sacred than animals, living, feeling, breathing beings. Animals are victims, the most oppressed ever. And if you're having a tough time grasping this fact, maybe it's because the only time you ever come into contact with cows and chickens and turkeys is when they're cut up and cooked on your dinner table. So, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gary Yourofsky. I'm a vegan animal liberation activist. I'm not a politician and I'm not a salesperson. That means I got no lies to tell you and no books and no DVDs to sell you. Before I continue, I want to define the word vegan for everybody, V-E-G-A-N. Vegans, just like vegetarians, do not consume the meat of any land or marine animal. Vegans, however, unlike vegetarians, also refrain from eating cheese, milk, eggs, honey, any animal product whatsoever. We also don't wear animal skin. No fur, leather, wool, silk, or down. I want to let you know that I was not raised vegan. I ate meat, cheese, milk, and eggs for around 25 years. And like most people, I always thought that I cared about animals because I loved dogs and cats, or chipmunks and squirrels. Until one day, after seeing some animals backstage at a circus, chained up and caged up, I not only realized that I was witnessing a slave show, I realized I was a hypocrite, a bigot, a speciesist. Just like a racist who believes that their race is more special and more important than all the other races, a speciesist believes that humans are more special and more important than all the animals, and therefore have the right to enslave and kill any species they choose. But if you honestly place yourself in the animal's position, looking at this issue from the victim's point of view, being denied your freedom and the right to live a long, healthy life, and then imagine yourself confined in a concentration camp truck on your way to a slaughterhouse so someone could slice your throat and cut you up into pieces, I'm pretty sure you would understand why the psychotic addictions of meat, cheese, milk, and eggs must be abolished. If you eat animals and the things that come out of animals, you are intentionally causing pain and suffering and polluting your soul with the blood of innocent beings. Humanity's main focus should always be extending compassion to others, not engaging in rituals and traditions that are based on cruelty. There's a massacre taking place right now. It's the world's largest and longest running massacre of all time, because every second of every minute of every hour of every day, female animals are raped to impregnate them, so we can steal their babies, separate families from each other, so we can kill them and sell their flesh and skin. If that's not the definition of injustice, of an atrocity, then I'd like to know what is. You do realize that if you went to the nearest cow or chicken slaughterhouse and removed the animals and then replaced them with human beings, all of a sudden it's a tragedy. Auschwitz is resurrected. Slave ships sail again. And don't think I'm the first person to make these valid comparisons. Civil rights activist Dick Gregory once said, "When I look at animals held captive by circuses, I think of slavery. Animals in circuses represent domination and oppression. They wear the same chains and shackles." Isaac Bashevis Singer, who escaped Nazi-occupied Poland, once condemned our speciesistic world when he said, what do they know? All these scholars, all these philosophers, all the leaders of the world, they have convinced themselves that man, the worst transgressor of all the species, is the crown of creation. And all the animals were made for us to be food and pelts, to be tormented and exterminated. In relation to animals, all humans are Nazis. For the animals, it is an eternal Treblinka. Now, I know these statements sound pretty harsh and controversial to you, but that doesn't mean they aren't true. The fact that anyone would fight against veganism, against animal liberation, which means you are against compassion, just proves how completely irrational meat, dairy, and egg eaters can be. Vegans are only asking you to change what you eat, not who you are. Stay Jewish, Christian, or Catholic. Stay Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, atheist, agnostic. Stay left or right in politics. If you honestly place yourself in the animal's position, there's no way you can justify the things that we do to them and walk away from today's speech saying that you don't care. The ethical compass that most people use to gauge right from wrong is the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Since no one in this room wants to be treated the way we treat cows and pigs and chickens and turkeys and fish, There's no need to search for an excuse today not to be vegan. 60 billion land animals, 90 billion marine animals are killed every year on this planet for a sandwich, for addictions of greed and gluttony. What kind of society justifies mass murder? Stop thinking that animals aren't victims because they aren't human. It's the mindset of the victimizer that's wrong, and this is what needs to be examined and corrected because it never changes no matter who the victim is. Have you noticed it always goes something like this? No, you don't count. No, you don't matter. No, I'm more important than you. No, I laugh at the suffering I inflict on you. I'll kill you and your family whenever I want, however I want. Prove to me why I should be kind to you. It is not your right to deny someone else their freedom and their rights, so you can harm them, enslave them, and kill them. That's not what rights are about. That's injustice. There is no counter-argument to veganism. Accept it. You can't be right all the time. Apologize for the way you've been living. Make amends and evolve. Move forward. Now, all throughout history, there's a pretty good reason why most people, most good people, have always been on the wrong side of what's right. And that's because the truth has never been accepted overnight. It always has to pass through 3 stages. First, it is mocked and ridiculed. Yeah, people always make fun of something they don't understand, especially when it involves being kind to someone else. Second stage, denial and violent opposition. People refuse to believe there's an atrocity taking place, and they fight tooth and nail to keep the status quo as is. Third stage, acceptance. There is no longer need to explain it because we all get it. Now, unfortunately, it usually takes hundreds, sometimes thousands of years for the truth to pass through these stages. I'm going to try and do it today in around 45 minutes. And in order for the truth to be accepted and understood, we do have to witness the atrocities. The 5.5-minute video we're about to watch, that footage was taken throughout America, Britain, and Israel. And if you feel the need to turn away or close your eyes during this video, you should probably ask yourself a question. If it's not good enough for my eyes, then why is it good enough for my stomach? And before I press play, I have to say something about all this humane meat, humane milk, humane eggs bullshit that's going on in our society right now. That stuff does not exist under any circumstances whatsoever. Even when animals reside in cage-free, free-range, grass-fed, local, organic, antibiotic-free facilities. By definition alone, slavery and slaughter are radically cruel and can never be humane. So don't be so gullible with slick marketing ads that want to convince you that animals enjoy being on the menu. As if they're all saying, hey, stab me! Yeah, kill me! Sure, take everything from me. Because that's why I'm here. Just for you. And if for some reason my aforesaid words in this video we're about to watch aren't proof enough of the terrorism claims that I am hurling at the meat, dairy, and egg industries, maybe the dismembered bodies of 150 billion animals annually could count as proof.